Hey folks, we're Jay Kunstlinger and the Rock Bottom Band. Thank you Motif Magazine for having us. Thank you the Parlour for being the Parlour. And thank you everybody who's tuning in right now. So this is the first song of our upcoming album. The song is called Wild Horses of Wyoming, or as we recently decided, The Feral Foal from Idaho. Please don't call it that.
Traffic is a bitch sometimes. That's impossible to change. None of the holes on the street have been filled in, and every single car looks the same. But soon today will be a long time ago, and yesterday history. Tomorrow I'll be dining at the table in a quiet place near the split trees. When the bright light dawns and beckons me along, like an addy really trying me down, pulling on the sun. Well, I go riding into heaven where the wild, wild horses are. Then you won't have to worry about me no more, 'cause everything will be just fine. I spend eternity day drinking and telling dirty jokes to Jesus with John Prine. When the bright light dawns and beckons me along, like an enemy and drive me down, coming on the sun. Well, I'll be riding into heaven with the wild, wild horses of Wyoming. So have I ever told you the one about the guy who finally figured it out? Now all he did was losing everything to clear his mind and finally come around. When the bright light dawns and beckons me along, like an enemy and draw me down, pulling on the sun. I'll go riding into heaven with the wild, wild horses of Wyoming. Hey! When the bright light dawns and beckons me along, like an enemy to drive me down, pulling on the sun. Well, I'll go riding into heaven with the wild, wild horses of Wyoming.
Thank y'all very much. So like I said, that's going to be the first song off that new album. Oh, thank you for your applause and everybody. This next one. It took me 4 weeks to steal this from Harry Chapin, or 6 weeks. I don't know. Zach says the time that it took changes all the time. Point is, it is now unrecognizable to his estate, so they can't sue me. So, na. This song is called "Moving Without Me."
All I see for the city and the streets and the creatures of habit are moving without me. Life is friends agree that sometimes you gotta throw the whole thing out and start all over again clean. We've been changing our hair, religion, and friends, and living on fast food. Well, none of us own a goddamn thing, 'cause we still owe money to school. Folks my age are anxious and we're tired all the time. I wish someone told me from the start the difference between what was theirs and what was mine. Oh, I'm aimless, I'm not ashamed. Well, maybe a little, but who's to say? I change my mind most every day. And lately, I've been thinking I may be on my way. Tell me what's the move. You look like that you like wasting time, but that's all that I seem to do. You say it's comfortable for me. There's always everything hanging over it. There's always stopping me. But I will try to find a line to press you out of your dress. Well, I'm 25 going nowhere in life, and I drive my grandma's Prius. I really do. And I'm scared of commitment since my parents got divorced. I wish someone told me from the start the difference between having sex and playing sports. Oh, I'm aimless, I'm not ashamed. Well, maybe a little, but who's to say? I change my mind most every day. And lately, I've been thinking I may be on my way. I'm about to bottom out, 'cause everything has been changing every day, and I'm still me somehow. I say it's a drag on me. We all gotta do them and we don't get like it. Someone tell me how that's okay. Always hated my birthday, and I've always hated the way with each passing year I'm watching people turn into shapes. 'Cause everybody's distant and we're all wearing masks. I wish someone told me from the start. Oh, but then again I forgot to ask. Well, I'm aimless, I'm not ashamed. Well, maybe a little, but who's to say? I change my mind most every day. Lately, but I've been thinking I may have been on my way.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so this next song, I'm going to stall while Andrew changes guitars. This song, it took me a little bit to write. I finished it after binge watching a lot of Gilmore Girls with my mother. It's called Lorelei, because of course, you know. And it's one of my favorites. It's also going to be on that new album. The new album is called Wrapped Around the Axle. Comes out on CD August 14th. And streaming services whenever Janelle, our publicist, thinks is a good idea. Because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time with this kind of stuff. Andrew, do you know what you're doing? Nope. Jamie? Nope. Zach? To the folks who can't see him because I'm standing in front of him, he shrugged. All right. Want to count it in, Zach?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I've been 1,000 miles without end. I've crossed the great divide, jumped the dam. I've been spending all my money with my good time friends, my gambling buddies, and the grateful dead, and none of them could ever understand how I have been so lonely, acting that dirty old man. Yeah, I've been hauled up in my sorrow, just been barreling towards tomorrow, because I heard it goes forever unless you stop. Only been inclined to bum around from heaven through the underground, 'cause I thought that sitting still and getting caught. Yeah, I have been so lonely. Would you mind if I stopped by? Oh, I've loved you for a long, long time, Lorelei. Look at what you've done. Walked in the mile, I've gone ahead and made a mess of everything. But don't you act so proud. Little miss talks too loud, though it's not to say that I got it all myself. You know it all too well. You've got me wrapped around the axle, but as sure as God wears sandals, I'll be staying in your bed instead of mine. 'Cause I've been so long without you, doing things I'm not supposed to, and I've had enough of that for a while. Yeah, I have been so lonely, so can I crash here tonight? Oh, I've loved you for a long, long time, Lorelei. Yeah, I've loved you for a long, long time, Lorelei. Do you ever think about you and I?
All right, thank you. That's actually going to be the first single off that new album. You know, I like singing with Andrew. I like when we do that.
Aw,
Yeah. This next song.
so sweet.
Well, I've been mean to you lately, so I gotta be nice to you in front of everybody else.
No one's buying it.
No one's buying it? I don't know. Yeah, he's shaking his head. He's like, yeah, a little more. All right. This next song is about friendship. No, it's not. This is quite the opposite. This song is called The Mess Around. It has a specific kind of dance. It's really whatever you want to do in that moment when you're moved to dance. It's specific because it's about you. It's interpretive dance. All right. Right!
Shut down better angels in your brain. Try to shit on this in the cave. Instead of fear step out here way off. Don't be what you say, say it at all. The way I caught you lying, got myself rising. Good Lord, I'm out of baby, mess around again. Pearl Magdalena's gone insane. She won't run out from kissing on the real thing. Should've hidden this when I found it. She lost her Bible, saying with it now. That's the way I caught you lying, got myself rising. Good Lord, I'm out of baby, mess around again. Got me thirsty, great. Let me tell you about the things I've seen. And if nobody believes me, that's alright. Hey. Attorney Betty's wanted for a crime. A good nigger right before the pantomime. Broke his glasses and he crushed his head. And took out round his south, I told the real great. There's a way I caught you lying.
Thanks.
Thank you all very much. You guys get winded just now? Yeah. Yeah, we're not like in the best shape. This next song is called, I can read, Get There Together. It's actually the first song off the first record, and it's very popular with a bunch of fraternity students in southern Massachusetts. Go Corsairs. All the theater kids too. You like that one? All right. You ready?
Some of yours, babe. I'll give it some of mine. That we can share our troubles on the way. It might take a while, might not be the same. But I can drive and I can go all day. But if we're not going to the same place, then how we gonna get there together? 'Cause I'm a little restless, going on quicker. So just to count the steps we have to take. Your heart is so best, babe. Your mind's a little thinner. Is there a time that could not be the same? 'Cause if we're not going to the same place, then how we gonna get there together? And if we don't make it, well, it was worth the waste. Because the time we shared is the time that I was better. Yeah. So if we're not going to the same place, but how we gonna get there together? And if we don't make it, well, it was worth the waste. Because the time we shared was the time that I was better. So give me some of yours, babe. I'll give you some of my head. We can share our troubles on the way. It might take a while, might not be the same. But I can drive and I can go all day. Yes, I can drive and I can go all day. Yes, I can drive and I can go all day.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We get one or two more? Cool. Awesome. Well, I think we got... Yeah, we got two more anyways. Yeah. I might be ready now. This song was the most recent single that we put out on all streaming services, foreign and domestic. It's called I Might Be Ready Now. And I wrote that in college. The professor whose class I wrote it in, well, he liked that song. But, you know, he was kind of upset with me for writing it when I could have been studying for his exams. But I earned that grade. He likes the song, though. So the song's called I Might Be Ready Now.
Jettisoned my head I feel happy. I put it on again. So maybe next time I should be so lucky to misremember that the moral of the tragedy of New England, the distance killed the kids we were, and all they could have been. How far could you go? Were you not allowed? But it was more than just 3 words, 'cause I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Holy fool, this might be the first time in a while. Then it's straight to the point. He said, all stars of the morning share a smile. That the hurts about the home girls and the bad parts of the hood won't go away. Will you learn that you'll always be the same? If you could change anything, would you change your face and how? That it was more than just 3 words, 'cause I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Yes, I know who you are. Yes, I got it figured out. It was more than just 3 words, and I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Yes, I might be ready now. Thank you. Next song. Sorry, you guys speaking to the microphone. I'm talking to you folks. This next song, and this last song for this evening, is called Forever I'm Your Friend in Jeopardy, or just Jeopardy if you're into the brevity thing. I wrote it from my friend Tyler, who joined the Navy during the worst of COVID. So, Tyler, if you're watching, love you, buddy. It's been a long time since we laughed about anything. Oh, such a long time, a feeling like the world was ending. That the ocean's on the rise and the air is getting thin. When the river's dry, we'll only have a gin. So I say to you, this drink's on me. For forever I'm your friend at Jeopardy. I think I've had enough. I'm sick of all the constant sorrow. And all it's done to us, turning happy faces hollow. I think that it's because somehow we're all traumatized. Then I like to think there's not much more than the next guy. I could share the pain of good company. And forever I'm your friend, Jeopardy. Take it, Andrew. Folks, thank you all very much. My name is Jake Hunsinger. On the lead guitar, we got Andrew Donnelly. On the drums, we got Zach Wedge. And on the bass guitar, we got Jamie Doyle. We'll be back in a little bit. Thanks for listening.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Between the Notes with Motif Magazine. My name is Jack Downey, and we are once again here at the Parlour in Providence, Rhode Island, with Jake Hunzinger and the Rock Bottom Band. How you doing, guys?
I'm doing real good. What about you guys?
Yeah, same.
Yep, good here. All
I'm trying to
good here.
confirm.
How are you? Terrible.
I'm doing well, thank you.
You're good?
I'm great, yeah. No, it was a good day at work today, so
Okay.
working for Motif Mag. I'm an intern. But I haven't done one of these in like 2 months, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
But I'm feeling ready because
I haven't done one of these in about 24 years, so
to start it off, I just want to say you guys did a phenomenal job. You guys really killed it. I've like I was talking to you earlier, I followed you guys' Instagram for a while, and I've listened to some of your tunes, and it was great to actually hear the music live and to hear some new songs, which we'll talk about in a minute. Excuse me.
50
but-
seconds now.
Yeah. But great job, you guys. It was
Thank
really
you very
superb.
much.
And so what was interesting is saying that you guys have a country influence would be kind of just like a low-hanging fruit. But what I was also hearing was almost like a 90s indie sound from the UK. I listen to a lot of that stuff, and there's a lot of emphasis on rhythm guitar being acoustic and kind of a lighter, twangier lead guitar. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I was just going to ask, do you have any influences in that genre, and what are your influences overall?
So with that in particular, I can only speak for myself, but I'll pass it around so everybody gets something to say. But like, for me, like that kind of era. Are you talking about like 90s, like Britpop kind of jangly stuff?
Britpop, yeah. I would just say like indie in general, honestly. Like, yeah,
Okay.
do you know Sarah Records?
I'm afraid not. No.
Okay. That's kind of the specific vibe I was getting, but
Well, something to put on in the
Britpop
car.
too.
Something to put on when I get in the car. But if you're gonna like look for like a 90s indie type of thing, this is kind of by accident, but people say we have a very Hootie and the Blowfish vibe. Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my heart. Not a sponsor. But that's all kind of by accident. For me, my personal like influences that I try not to deliberately do, but are kind of all over my music,
Right.
are like Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, George Jones, Billy Joe Shaver, Leonard Cohen when I get moody. Right now, like with the earlier songs, there was a lot of Springsteen and Bob Dylan, but this new stuff is a lot more, at least with my singing, George Jones and Billy Joe Shaver. What about you guys?
yeah, I can like speaking for myself. If there's any 90s influences in my playing, it's definitely not indie. It's just not my cup of tea. Like any 90s in my playing would be like a lot of like the big like the metal bands from the 90s, like Metallica,
Really? Okay.
Metallica, Pantera, Death, a lot of those kinds of bands.
When we met, he was only a metal guy.
Yeah, and then like obviously like grunge and that stuff. Like everybody listens to at least some of that.
It's pretty unavoidable, yeah.
I wouldn't call that stuff as direct, but it's just like, any music with drums in it to me is study material. So, yeah. So I wouldn't say that there was, if there was anything drum wise that you heard that reminded you of that, it wasn't intentional or a direct influence, but it's all kind of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything
Well,
kinda
you were
crosses over.
definitely hammering the drums on that song "Mess Around," so
Yeah.
I can see the metal influence.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
that's all like Iron Maiden right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ripped that all right from there. But
I think there's like a really interesting difference between like conscious and subconscious influences. Things you want to do and things that kind of just bleed in through osmosis. But,
Right.
What about you guys?
I grew up listening to a lot of different kinds of music. So I listened to, my parents both listened to a lot of 90s grunge and 90s indie music, 2000s country and 90s country, and like Irish folk music and reggae. So I have quite a wide variety of musical and rhythmic influences that inspire my bass playing. I can't really speak to anything specific at the moment because my mind goes blank in interviews, but I'll pass to Andrew now.
Yeah. So I am by far the oldest in the band. So 90s influence. I grew up in the 90s. That was like I was in high school in the 90s. So.
Oh,
brother, this
guy's old. That too.
So the influence is definitely there. I mean, I grew up when I was in high school. Ska was just coming out, and that was like the big
Oh,
thing,
right.
man.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
loved
yeah.
it, But I listened to when I was kind of developing my musical taste. I listened to a lot of. So I don't know if anyone remembers BRU back in the day, but 95.5 BRU used to listen to that all the time, stuff like, I can't remember names now, but basically, if it was on alternative rock radio, I was listening to it. So that's probably where any of the '90s you got comes directly from my biography, my life, because I lived it. So.
But like for you too, there's like a lot of like talk about just like general influences. Like you are like the harmony guru and Big Daddy there.
Yeah, well, I do love. So what I'm into now, I listen to a lot of folk music, traditional bluegrass. I also love blues and stuff. So one of my favorite bands is a Canadian female folk trio from Canada, and they're really harmony heavy. So I've always dreamed of singing harmony in a band, and just kind of like forced it on them and told them that this is gonna happen no matter what. So.
I don't think harmonies have ever hurt any band, honestly. So
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, that's kind of where my influence is at the moment, at least.
yeah, as a fellow harmony singer in a band,
Oh no!
nice. I
nice.
get the appeal.
I could tell just by looking at you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad it comes across.
It's always the most handsome one in the band. That's what it is.
Thank you.
He's like Billy on the street going up to people saying, "Hey, do you want to sing harmony with me?" And they're like, "Who are you? Get out of my bathroom."
So I guess the question is, having heard all these influences, how did you guys come together to play the music that you play? Particularly you being so into metal.
So Jake and I went to school together, and it was always that like.
Jamie went too, by the way.
Oh yeah, so did Jamie, but I didn't meet him until he joined us. But Jake, I knew we were friends before, and it was kind of that like elephant in the room of like, hey, we both play instruments, let's play together.
My girlfriend at the time introduced us, and I say, "You play drums?" And you go, "You play guitar?" We're like, "Yeah." We didn't say anything.
Yeah, and then we knew each other for like a year and didn't play ever. And then you just asked me to record on your. We recorded the first EP, and I think it was initially just kind of supposed to be just like I record for him, and then we call that a day. But we ended up. It was the three of us. We have the new guy over there.
He's a jolly good rookie.
So he joined after we recorded that, but yeah, the three of us ended up just kind of hitting it off super well. Like we got along super well, and we ended up liking like what we were hearing, so it kind of just fell together.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I came into it. Was just I kind of knew him, and yeah, I was a friend who happened to play the drums, and we ended up just having a real chemistry that worked well together.
Yeah, and let me just add this real quick. We were coffee buddies before we were music buddies. I don't think we talked about music in any real way until I was like, "Oh, I got to record these songs now." And
Well, because we couldn't, because I hated everything you listened to. Every time you were like, "Yeah, George Jones," and I'm like,
I didn't even talk about George
"Like
Jones
where are
in the first
where are the
record.
blast beats?"
Oh, I'm gonna blast beat you. Here's Jamie with the weather.
I just woke up one day and I was in the middle of playing a band with these guys. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, we kind of hatched him from an egg like this. Yeah.
I was.
He's a century
Conjured up a
egg.
bass player.
Yeah.
You need a bass player.
Yeah, you gotta. You gotta do like the Zeus Athena thing where you think them into an existence, and then like with drummers they kind of just combust. So you gotta find a new one.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
We're talking about Spinal Tap, and
I was playing live with this. It was myself on the resonator and this other gentleman named Jamie Craighead. We were playing kind of same kind of venues. It was just the two of us doing a lot of like bluegrass CE sounds. And he asked me to join him on the EP. And again, that's like what Zach was saying. And that's where kind of all of it came from, was us joining together on the EP and then being like, hey, it sounds kind of good. Let's see if we can get a show. And we did. We got our first show February 2020. It was the first and only show for a long time because everything got shut down.
you're missing the show where you were in Portugal for a month.
That's true.
And we
That's
had to
true.
replace you for that one. It was the CD release show of all things.
Right.
Because we
Forgot about
asked
that.
Jamie to hop on for that show, and I was like, yeah, that's the day that we hatched him. Yeah. I sat on that egg for 30 minutes. But anyways, yeah, Andrew was doing Army Guy stuff in Portugal, and then we got my friend Tyler from Kingston Throwdown to hop on. And we said, dress for the part. And he showed up in a suit with musical notes on. It was a white suit with musical notes, and it was a purple shirt and a tie. And he looked like he taught math to preschoolers by rapping. And it was awesome. And we have these videos everywhere because I'm looking like, like you just pulled me out of like, like some sort of 70s cartoon. Spaghetti Western. Yeah, you call me do I look like spaghetti? Somebody said I have spaghetti arms, and I'm very sensitive about that. I'm crying. But yeah, that was our first show, like doing these songs for people, as beyond just me. And then that show in February that you're talking about with Hollow Turtle, Beth Barron, and Jake Wasson, who are just some of the coolest people we know.
One hell of a ticket right there.
That was a great show.
Yeah, I'll say.
Hey, if you guys are watching, hi. Didn't see you there. Take this away from. Take it away from me.
Riveting material here.
I can say that does not happen a lot during interviews, so you guys stand out now.
You can make fun of him. It's okay.
No, I appreciate it. But you were talking about being coffee buddies before you were in a band together. I actually have only recently just started getting back into coffee because my family's a coffee maker, and they have these like special. I don't know where they get the K-Cups from. They're not from Dunkin's because Dunkin' messes with me in unforeseeable ways, so I don't like to drink it. But this coffee is really good, so I have to ask, like, what is your go-to coffee-related drink?
There is a brand of I don't know. I know they do K-Cups. I don't know if they do like ground coffee or anything, but Death Wish coffee. It's a dark roast, like insanely strong, just straight black. It's great.
Yeah, so I'm a straight black coffee guy too. Doesn't matter how hot or how cold it is, it's always going to be a hot black cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I really like, I'm going to sound incredibly like basic, I guess, but I love the Sumatra. Well, actually, okay, if I'm going to get like a coffee that's like different every time, but still black coffee, I go to Latte Love in Cranston because it's right near my house and I love that place. But if I'm going to, make it at home, it's going to be like the dark roast Sumatra Starbucks blend, because it's like expensive dirt. I just love it. You don't drink coffee.
I don't. No, I don't drink coffee. I don't like the taste of it. Never have.
Yeah.
No coffee ice cream. No coffee milk cabinet. Whatever. Don't like it.
I've never understood coffee milk.
No.
It's really just. I mean, it's good. I had it once, but it was like basically just melted coffee ice cream. At that point, I would just eat the ice cream.
I'll kill a 5-hour energy shot though.
There you go.
Caffeine. Yeah. So.
It gets the job done.
I get the. Yeah. I get the drug from somewhere at least.
So I notoriously drink a lot of coffee, but I drink like all sorts of stuff. Like I don't have a go-to per se. Like it depends on where I go. Like especially like being from the South Shore of Mass, there's a lot of places in New Bedford and Dartmouth and Fairhaven and that area that have a lot of like really unique like specialty things.
Mm-hmm.
My go-to at home is hot coffee with cream and 2 equal because that's how my mother used to drink it growing up, and that's just what I grew around herding. So I've just grown to like that. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. The best coffee drink I ever had was there was a place my family used to have a little cabin in New Hampshire, and it was in Ware, New Hampshire, but there was a little town called Goffstown, tiny like time capsule looking place, and there was this cafe there called Apothecary, something like that.
There's the Apotheca, yeah.
And we went a couple years ago, and they had one. It was called the Nutty Professor, and it was basically like a Reese's peanut butter cup, like cappuccino, and it was like the greatest thing I've ever drank. It was unbelievable.
I don't really like sugary drinks, but like they did it right.
Yeah, I don't like overly sweet coffee drinks. Like I hate when people like get a cup of coffee and they add like 30 pumps of chocolate and caramel. Like at that point, just go buy a bottle of Hershey syrup and drink it. Like
speaking of chocolate, remember when you made the Aztec hot chocolate, but you put peppers that were too hot in it? And you I got high from it. I don't know what you did, but it just messed me up.
So I'm a history major, and I also love to cook. So
Okay.
I made a experimental, tried to make hot chocolate the way the Aztecs did, like pre-Columbus.
Right. Okay.
And it's disgusting. Like it is
Really?
because there's no sugar.
Yours was
there's-
disgusting.
There's no cream. Yeah, there's no sugar. There's no cream. It's just like bitter, like chocolate with no sweetener, and like they would put like chili peppers in it. But I bought the wrong
Right.
pepper. They didn't have jalapeno, so I said, "Oh, I'll buy a serrano," not realizing it's like way hotter. So like. It was you, our buddy Connor, and our friend Jared were over, and we all drank, and I thought we were all gonna die. Like we took one sip, and we were all like panting, red in the face, sweating.
Connor and I were apparently really dumb that day because we kept going. Okay, because we were like, okay, it's gonna get good at some
Yeah,
point.
you guys were trying to convince yourself it was good because you felt bad. You felt guilty spitting it out, so you were like, "Oh yeah, it's so good." Meanwhile, I'm in the kitchen crying, dumping the thing in the woods.
Yeah, not a fan of spicy foods.
I like spicy foods, but like within reason.
Right. Okay, that
Because
makes
it's
sense.
just
That's
gross.
fair.
And it's also that like there are certain flavors that I'm not used to eating just from like what I grew up eating. So like bitter, unsweetened chocolate with serrano pepper is definitely one of those combinations. I can't say I've eaten much in my life, so it was just like spicy in a weird context that I wasn't used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, admittedly, yeah, that could be.
Yeah, like
off-putting
if you eat
for
like
sure.
like Indian
Yeah.
food is spicy. So like when you're eating that, you expect it to be spicy, and that's a combination that goes well. But
I
Yeah.
would kill for some Ethiopian food right now. That stuff's great.
I'm gonna get Indian food on the way home now. It sounds so good.
Oh yeah.
Is there an Ethiopian place near here?
No, we got to go to like Medford, I think.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Is it worth the drive?
I haven't been to that one. The last time I had it, it was in D.C. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And it was really good then. So I've been craving it
Yeah, Ethiopian food
for years. I've been on the hunt.
Food talk with Jay Kunster, the rock bottom.
Up next, we got Gordon Ramsay, not a sponsor.
So I've been notified that we have like 5 minutes left, so we should probably
Oh,
steer the
crap.
conversation
Yeah.
to something musical. But so I was talking to Jake a little bit about this earlier, but I saw that you guys did one of those least of all direct to vinyl sessions. So could you guys tell me a little bit about that? Because like I was telling you, I got an email from them like 3 years ago, and I didn't really know what to make of it. And you were telling me that it was a really great experience. So how'd it go?
So to be short on words, which is really hard for me, it was really great. We were a little suspicious at first because you get a solicitation email when you're in the music business. You might automatically go, no, you're not taking my credit card.
Yeah, so I always operate under the if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
But that's
So-
honestly been wrong for a lot of things. We're big believers in trust but verify, and so I reached out and they're like, hey, I know why you think that, but I promise, like we're legit, and they were. So when we were playing in Manhattan last 2 weeks ago, hey Nate Cosolino, we recorded 21 least of all records. Also, Jules, you did a great job if you're watching. Jules was the engineer. They were great. We did that. Then we played our show in Manhattan, and it was all just quick, fun, and profitable. It was everything that they promised and then more. I highly recommend anybody reaching out to them or accepting an offer if they reach out to you.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was like very laid back. Like there was no like, but it was efficient. It was still professional. Like I didn't feel like super under pressure, but it was still like because we did 22 songs, something like that.
21. We
So
were going
it's
to do
like-
22, then we got tired.
So it's like you got to do 21, 22 songs, and we did 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's very like one after the other, but it's never like there was never a point where it was like, oh my God, we're running out of time. Like I never felt like I was being rushed or, yelled at by a professional who saw us as just a bunch of dumb kids. Like it was a super professional but super like relaxed experience.
It's also like a big. It's a big thing to feel like like people out there are listening who aren't in your immediate vicinity and go, I like that so much, I want to help them make money on it. So thank you least of all.
Yeah, especially like in a city like New York where there's just music everywhere. Like for them to go out of their way to contact a band from Providence, it was a good feeling.
It was amazing. Yeah. What else you got for us?
So let's talk a little bit about your upcoming new album. It was called Wrapped Around the Axle, I believe you said.
Yeah, that was so that's a lyric in Lorelei. The full lyric is, you got me wrapped around the axle, but as sure as God wears sandals, and so does Andrew. Hold your feet up to the camera, buddy. Look at those mandals. Yeah, that's $30.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's just giving out free feet pics.
Yeah. Hey, okay, Venmo me $20, everybody at home. You're not gonna see $1. Actually, but that was an Andrew saying, and I liked it so much. I was having a little crisis when he first used that, and I was like, oh, I gotta put that in a song. And then it became the album title, because I think it really encapsulates the broad theme of everything that's going to be on that record. Every song on that, except for one, has been written in the last 2 years. And no, I Remember Everything is the only one that's like old.
Oh, I thought you meant like newer songs.
Yeah, no, all the newer songs. We technically were writing the album up until the last minute, like the last session. Just fine-tuning lyrics and like little things. George Dussault was our producer, Galilee Productions. I love that man.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Yeah,
really.
yeah. And if you're watching, thanks again. for everything.
And if you're not watching, thanks again.
Yeah. Whoever could tell him for me. Tell him I said thanks again. And Zach too, and Andrew and Jamie. But yeah, we're gonna be working with him again too. Like
Definitely.
like if he'll have us back, we'll be going back to him for a long time.
That's great. It's always great when you find someone who's able to kind of pull out your artistic vision in the way that you were hoping. And you mentioned as well that Lauren King provides a lot of the backing vocals on the album.
Let me actually thank everybody who contributed to the album.
Perfect, go for it.
Ben Richard from Hollow Turtle and his own solo project, who, by the way, he's a fantastic songwriter in his own right.
And
He
also-
played fiddle.
He's also our unofficial, official fifth member because
Yeah.
he's played with this band more than I have at this point.
Yeah. Sometimes I give him a call. I'm like, Ben, dusk, 10 minutes? And be like, okay. Yeah. Then we'll share a beer and talk about. If you ever have Ben on this, okay, ask him about the pig. Okay?
The pig?
There's like a legitimate pig like that he loves to talk about.
Okay.
Also, Lauren King, like you said, she also a fantastic songwriter. And
Absolutely.
probably, and I don't want to I don't like talking about who's like awesome, but I love Lauren King's voice a lot, and I think everybody agrees, that she's got something, in her voice that's just amazing. Yeah, thank you, Lauren, for singing on the album and making it better. And Chris Brooks from Evening Sky and a few other projects, he played pedal steel for us, and he was just we even though we're a bunch of goofballs, we care about people showing up and being just professionals, and he was just the most absolute gentleman.
Yeah, like 2 takes on every song.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And he was a complete mensch, and I want to work with him again too when I write songs that need pedal steel.
Yeah.
He completely changed the entire dynamic of the record.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things, I have a hard time with pedal steel because it's one of those things where it can be overdone. It can be very much like, how do we make this sound like a country song? Throw a wailing pedal steel behind it. Every single thing he played is perfect.
George described him as like butter on toast in the morning.
It sold me
Wow,
on
okay.
it's like every single moment he played I was sold. There was not a single moment where I was like, I don't know, that's a little cheesy. It was perfectly done. He plays on what?
6 songs.
5, yeah, a bunch, a good chunk of the album. It's not like one.
We had to stop ourselves from asking him to play on all of them because certain songs just didn't need it.
Yeah.
Lorelei, that recording was already done. George played guitar on that, and we're like, oh, maybe we could put the pedal steel in here too. But it'd be kind of redundant with what George was doing. So we kind of just bit our knuckles. Was like, okay, he's already unlocked everything, and Lorelei's done. Let's just let it be, But yeah, he's great. They're all great, We're very fortunate to know so many folks who are willing to contribute, and are just really willing to, to help us achieve something,
Yeah, and show up and be professional about it. It's not like they showed up and were like, I've never listened to this song. You know what I mean? They showed up with their parts ready to go, so it was quick. Lauren showed up. Every song was only a couple of takes. Same thing with Ben. He nailed his fiddle pretty quickly. And was it Chris?
Chris, yeah.
On pedal steel. Like I said, it was 2 takes on every song, and most of it was cautionary second take just in case.
Yeah.
He was an absolute top of the line professional about it.
People are great. Providence is great,
Providence has a lot of great musicians, for sure.
Yeah.
And you said that it was coming out on CD on August 14th. Is it being put out by any specific label, or are you guys self-producing it?
So this album is put out through Hobo Castle, run by our dear friend Wiley Bumtail.
Right, I think I follow them, actually.
Yeah,
That
Wiley's a
was-
good guy, and he has a lot of faith in us, and he actually really helped with the art too, because that was the last thing, because so we have a publicist now. We work with Greenlight Go, and we got everything that they needed, but we couldn't get art because we couldn't decide on what we wanted to do with it. Then Wiley was like, "Oh, I got an idea," and then we got it all from him, and it was perfect. It's a very fine visual representation of what this sounds like.
And it's funny. It's not the album cover I expected at all, but it's perfect.
Yeah, no, it exceeded expectations, and I'm happy Andrew pushed for art as opposed to pictures, because we didn't have enough time to take a stylized picture. I mean, we're all incredibly busy. The fact that we get to do this as much as we do, we got to fight to make it happen, but we do because we have too much fun.
Like, people always tell you, if you really care about it, like, you'll find the time for it. So it sounds like you guys really care about it if you have all this stuff going on. Because it does seem like you guys are incredibly prolific. I mean, you guys are playing shows all over Providence all the time.
This is our third this weekend.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, week. It's
Yeah.
Monday, but
This is from Thursday through today. I do this full time. This is my only job. This is my 6th, and tomorrow I do 7 and 8th, and then I stop for Wednesday, and I got another 7 to go. I could have been an accountant, but I'm really bad at math, so I had to do this. I only got 2 options.
You couldn't become a musical accountant?
I don't think anybody wants to sing to me. Well, yeah, come on, dude.
Fair.
I'm your CPA. You're going to jail for tax evasion. Scoopity-pop-pop-pop. It's free jazz.
So this question is kind of a loaded one, I guess. But which of the songs off of your new album would you say is your favorite? Not necessarily the best, because you don't want to pit songs against one another. But which ones are your favorites?
I pin them against each other all the time.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm very much a big believer in like being very cruel and critical on your work to make it as best as it can be. Obviously don't like get yourself wrapped around the axle, but like trademarked. But right now it's Lorelei because I wrote that with certain challenges in mind that I accomplished. And Keep Me in Mind, which you guys didn't get to hear yet, but it's my favorite song. That's like a B-side. Lauren sings beautiful harmony on that, and so does Zach.
yeah, I do actually.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Andrew was doing Army Guy stuff that day. Keep Me in Mind is my favorite. Lorelei, I think, is the best.
Favorite to play or favorite in general?
Both.
Favorite to play is Mess Around because it's just rage. And then favorite would be Keep Me in Mind. I like the instrumentation and the arrangement on that a lot. Yeah.
I'm happy you say that.
2 for Keep Me in Mind.
I'll follow up. I'll follow up with Jamie said. I'll do favorite live, favorite to play, and then favorite on the album. Favorite to play live, I would probably agree with Mess Around.
Not Black Eye? Oh, we have another song called
Black Eye's hard. I'm always tired by the end of it.
Yeah.
And then my favorite on the album is probably I Remember Everything.
No, I Remember Everything is, yeah.
It's kind of the most experimental sonically. I mean, like a lot more, a lot of the songs kind of fit into kind of the country umbrella as far as like instrumentation goes. Things like banjo and mandolin and pedal steel, a lot of those stuff. I Remember Everything we got a little bit more avant-garde with, got a little bit more broad with our sound choices on it. And it just came together so well.
Your percussion on that was really impressive, by the way.
So I think my favorite's Jeopardy, song about friendship, positive, and makes me feel nice. But it's
Hold
funny,
my hand.
catchy and stuff. So I like that one the best. Oh, that's very romantic. You want me to switch seats with him?
Oh, no, I want you to put your hand in there.
Oh, okay.
All right, so it seems like people have a lot to look forward to when the album drops on August 14th. And another date when it comes out on streaming services.
Yeah, so this is actually the first announcement about it. We're having an 8-band show to celebrate the release of this album at dusk on Sunday, August 14th. All right, 14th. Yeah. Don't throw me off, dude. Okay, I'm gonna get in trouble with a lot of people. Yeah, and you'll be able to buy a copy there, and we'll be streaming it about a month later. And yeah, it's gonna be a good evening. 8 bands, all the ones you know and love, and some new folks too.
I will be playing in 2 bands.
Zach will be playing in 2 bands.
And neither one of them is this band.
And neither one of them is this band. He quit.
All right, well, you heard it here first, folks. Rock Bottom Band is having an album release show, or a preemptive album release show, on August 14th at dusk with 8 bands, which that's pretty big. There are not a lot of bills in the area that are that packed with talent, so I would suggest checking it out if you don't have anything else going on.
We'll be advertising it and putting up stuff soon. Posters are hard to make. Oh, thank you, Anthony Lancelotti from Stone Nobles, for making all of our most recent posters. He's a buddy of mine who I grew up with, and he's just got a great visual eye. He's very theatrical. He understands creating stuff in a way that he lives there while I can only visit sometimes, to quote the John Mayer, Jason Isbell thing. He's why I write songs, actually, Anthony.
John Mayer or Jason
Lance.
All right, so none of the above.
D, none of the above.
All right, Eric, how we? Oh, okay.
Mhm.
All right, I think this is the point where we wrap it up.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for being on the podcast today. You guys really knocked it out of the park. That was a very entertaining interview.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for asking good questions.
I try my best.
And
so
for not
thank you.
like cattle prodding us every time we got off topic and talked about chocolate.
You started it.
No, well, you made the chocolate. You made the hot chocolate.
Not a lot of bands talk about chocolate, so I'm willing to indulge it.
Leave the stream rolling. We're about to have a fist fight. We're like the Eagles, except we really hate each other. Thank you, Motif.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. Thank you as always to the Parlour for having us in their beautiful space. And thank you to our sponsors, Trinity Beer Garden, R1 Racing, and Gray Sail Brewing for making this happen. So until next time, you can check this out on the Parlour's Facebook and on Spotify at some point when this gets uploaded. And so, yeah, definitely check that out, share it around. And I will see you the next time that I'm on here. Until then, have a great day.
Bye. Thanks for coming.